Like many of you, we battled depression during life's ups and downs.
Music has always been the one thing that we could rely on to get us through the tough times that we all face.
Follow us on our journey as we discuss the healing power of music,
Interview bands,
break down genres,
review band biographies,
and more.
This is the When Words Fail
Music Speaks podcast
with Blake Mosley
and James Cox. Hey everybody, welcome back to When Words Fail Music Speaks podcast, where we fight depression with the power of music. I am your professional handicapped host, James Cox, and I have an awesome interview for y'all today. We are interviewing away. How do you say your name again? I'm so sorry.
Hi, my name is Michel Langevin, but I'm also known as Away, the drummer.
Yes.
Drummer from Voivod.
Yeah, all right, cool. Cause sometimes like I get names wrong, you know, cause I was interviewing Alex from Necrogobicon, and I totally butchered his last name. So my deepest apologies, sir.
It's okay. It's actually why we decided to have nicknames, which is catchier and easier.
Exactly, and yours is Away. So
Yes.
I interviewed Away from the almighty brand of Voivod.
Yep.
So he is a founding member of and drummer of the Canadian metal band Voivod. He has been a constant member of the band since its formation in 1982. Away is credited with the creation of the mythology of the post-apocalyptic vampire lord Voivod, about which the band originally consolidated at, and is largely responsible for continuing science fiction themes. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great. Things are exciting for Voivod these days. We are refreshing the set list for an upcoming European tour with Opeth. We are excited.
Opeth, man, I haven't heard that name in years, so it's good. It's good that you mentioned that, because I was I'm not a big fan of them, but I did hear of them, and some of their stuff is amazing. So I'm so glad you're there. You know, I'm just glad we're getting back to like real life, you know, because I miss live concerts.
Oh yeah,
And
we got back to it, seriously this year. We went to USA, went to Europe, went to Mexico. We were afraid nobody would show up, but people are really hungry for music, which is great. Yeah.
Because I think everybody needs live music, because music is a powerful tool, you know.
Oh man, I missed it so much, because it's also a great way for me to get rid of the anxiety about this planet and all that. So playing drums for me is like a presto. So I really missed it.
Yeah, because I saw a few concerts in the past few months, and I just I just had to see them, you know. I had to see whoever came by me. So the band is a creation of the mythology and post-apocalyptic vampire lord Voivod. Okay, so your band consistently is based on science fiction, which is awesome. So what is your favorite sci-fi movie ever made?
Oh, I think it's a tough one. The one that scared me the most was probably The Incredible Shrinking Man when I was a kid, where the guy goes through a radioactive cloud and starts shrinking and fights with a spider and all that, But I think it's just after when I saw on TV Colossus, the Forbidden Project, where a giant computer in USA gets in touch with a giant computer in Russia, and they take control of the planet with all the nuclear weapons and all that. So it was a pretty scary movie, but there were a few things like that that really had a strong impact. One of which was the Planet of the Apes movies, the five movies, it really blew me away. The concept,
Right.
Yeah.
I've always been so afraid of the alien movies. Alien really freaked me out. So
yeah, the first Alien movie changed my art totally. and then a bit after the early cyberpunk movies like Mad Max, Blade Runner, Brazil. These also changed my art a lot, you know.
You are an artist, just like you said, and I tried to get your art book on because I think I don't I think I saw it everywhere. I don't think anybody can get your art book right now.
Yes, during the pandemic, I opened an online store, awayartpress.com, so I can make my art books available, so people can order it from there. And I sign every book. I make a drawing, and I always threw a couple of vintage stickers into the envelope as well.
Well, I'm definitely going to order one for you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because I purchased the book called "And Justice for Art Live," and I noticed that you did the forward for that book for him, and I thought that was
Yes.
amazing. So,
Yes, I also collaborated to the first Justice for Art
okay,
book as well, and that's great stuff.
yeah, because I think he has like 4 books plus a live, and I trying to get them all, but he sold out. So I can't imagine doing that. Um, so 40 years of Voivod. Um, so did you think when you first started this band that it'll be like this much popularity, in Voivod?
Well, actually, no, at first, it seemed impossible for me um, to think about a career playing heavy metal music because we were like French-speaking kids from northern Quebec, and it's only really when the first album, War and Pain, came out in 1984, it had a pretty good impact, and it's really where I realized that we could make it, maybe, and or at least try to make it. So that's where I dropped from university to work on the band more seriously, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you know that Snake joined in January '83. So starting next year, we're gonna celebrate the 40th anniversary big time with a book, a movie, um, some sort of greatest hits, and of course a very extensive world tour. So yeah, things are great.
Right, right. Well, y'all toured with a lot of great bands, and one band that I saw you've been touring with recently is Gore. And I love Gore so much,
Yeah.
Um, how crazy on that tour can it get? Because I know it's like a lot of stuff, things moving and everything. I mean, like like is Gore one of your favorite bands to tour with, or do you have like other bands you know?
That Guar tour was really amazing. It was the very end. It was the very end of the tour for the Wake, which was really successful too. So we had a great time. We love these guys, and it was a great concept of having like the Guar mythology meeting the Voivod mythology on the road, and yeah, I have very good fond memories of this tour. Um, well, we've been very lucky because we got to tour with a lot of bands that became very popular, like Fit No More and Soundgarden, and but also we got to tour with our heroes like Rush, Ozzy, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and so. Yeah, I think the Rush tour in 1990 for the Nothing Face album is one highlight, and also doing the Ozfest in 2003 when Jason was both in Voivod and Ozzy's band. Was a very great summer. Um, yeah, I mean, we've done so many tours with so many great bands. It's been a ride.
Well, I can't imagine because hearing you just say that, it's like, oh my God, I wonder what this band was like on tour, or that band on tour. But I know we don't have enough time for that. So that would be like a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I must say that some of the most exciting times were the first tours, like the first tour in USA in '86 with Celtic Frost, and the first European tour with Possess in '86. These were really mind-blowing because it was also a culture shock for me to tour internationally for the first time, and so and plus the thrash metal movement was really exploding, and it was insane in USA in particular. After every shows we did with Celtic Frost, about 50 cars would follow us to the hotel.
oh my God. Party, right?
Oh yeah.
Party back at the hotel. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were all in our early 20s too, so we were pretty excited.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. Because the first tour is like, I mean, nothing but for me. First tour, first tour has got to be the pretty much your best experiences ever. Because you're starting to get out and yeah, learn everything. Yeah. So I can't imagine what that must feel like too. That must feel like awesome. But since Mission Rush, there's been a debate, and I'm sure you've heard of the debate between Neil Peart and Peart and John Bonham. I think that okay, so I do think that Neil Peart's awesome and John Bonham's awesome, so I can't really pick which one's better. Um,
Hmm.
I,
Me
I
neither. Me neither.
right, yeah,
It's
because
yeah.
because 1 week I constantly the Bonham, but on another week it's like Neil Peart's got it in the bag. So I mean, you never know. So
Oh man, my favorite drummers are Terry Bozzio, uh, from Zappa, Clive Burr from Iron Maiden, Filthy Animal Taylor from Motorhead, Guy Evans from Vandergraaf Generator. But I would never be able to tell which one is better than the other because
right,
these are different styles in a way. So it's hard to compare styles. And actually, I've listened to music with drummers that were really not tight, but I really love their style. So that's a matter of taste as well. So these are very it's these are tough debates for sure.
right. So knowing that you're a drummer, and okay, so if I was to come to you and say, "What do I need to learn first to actually play drums well?" What would be your advice? Is it like the foot pedals first, or the left hand, right
Oh,
hand, you know?
well, I can only tell you what I did. I every time I would hear a beat, I would try to play it slow to figure out the kick drum pattern versus the snare and hi-hat and all that, and accelerate it until I reach the speed that's on the vinyl. So that's pretty much what I did for Motorhead and Iron Maiden and all that. What I sort of had um, how can I say I was a bit I was like a step ahead because when I was a kid I learned to play drums on, let's say, Elvis, Beatles. So later, when time came for me to play ECDC, it was the same beat as the Beatles, and then Motorhead was the same beat as Elvis. So I had it down right away. The D beat we call it, and so yeah. So it's pretty much all I can say, except for one. There was a club in where we grew up in northern Quebec, where Anvil would come, and we were big fans of Anvil, and I was watching the drummer a lot, Rob, and I noticed that the way when he had to play double hi-hat, he was hitting the hi-hat one hit on the way down and one hit on the way up, and so that keeps you from getting tendonitis, because if you play like that, it's going to go all the way through, and that's some tricks like that I learned watching other drummers when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's a really powerful thing that you don't want to mess up any limbs on your body because I mean, as a drummer, you need all four limbs.
Yes, I have done a parallel career of doing graphic art and a lot of it on the computer. And a couple of times I sort of ruined my body a bit being on the computer too extensively, you know.
Right.
And so I had to buy books of exercises to make sure that I stay in shape for the touring and the recording sessions and all that.
I read on an article one time, I can't remember when, but it said that you for some albums you use pre-recorded drums. Is that true?
Um, Pre-recorded
Like
drums.
like like computerized drums,
Sorry, can you repeat that?
computerized drums, like in I don't know how to explain this. Like
Um,
like you whenever you're recording an album, you get on the computer and do like drum beats on on a
oh,
computer.
yeah, I had to do it for the new album, Synchro Anarchy, because when we're in during the process, we came back from the Guar tour at the end of 2019 in Europe, and then we had a bit of a break for the holidays. And early 2020, we started meeting together to record improvisations and riffs and ideas from everybody, and we recorded everything. And it was in mid-March 2020 that everything shut down because of the pandemic.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, I had to program the drums for the demo because I don't have a drum kit at home. And it was a very interesting experience. And so we sort of built the album like a puzzle, sharing files. And we did the demos with programmed drums. And so sometimes I would even like send drum parts that are programmed without any music, so the guys could have fun on it. And I took the opportunity of putting a lot of tom beats, like punk beats, you know, with the toms and the floor toms. And but eventually we were able to gather in a studio and morph it into Voivodian material. But for a while, we had to build the album while socially distancing. But it gave us a new technique that will help us for the future releases, future albums. And I think the future albums will be less apart because of that, because now we have a technique to. I had seen Rocky and Chewy work and write a lot in the tour bus or backstage or in hotel rooms on their laptop with Logic Pro. So I decided to learn Logic Pro, and we all synced together and moving forward.
That's that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned the Beatles and Elvis, and I can't love you more with those two bands because those two bands mean so much to me right now. Um, so here's a hard question for you. If you had the opportunity to listen to either Elvis or the Beatles right now, which one would you pick?
The Beatles are still my favorite band. Yeah, but it's because they were my first band, and so yes, I actually, you know, we are very excited because in the upcoming tour we with Opeth, we had a day off, so we took the opportunity of going to Hamburg to play a club where the Beatles started. So we're all very
Oh,
excited.
nice, nice. Yeah. That's like the whole grill, right? Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. So, so we're gonna play this headline show in Hamburg during the tour with Opeth.
Yeah, I love the Beatles, I think a little bit more than Elvis, but Elvis is like the king of rock and roll, so you can't deny that. But yeah,
Yes.
the Beatles have something in my soul that I can't really explain to you right now, which is great, because some music you can't really explain how it makes you feel inside.
Yes, from the first time there was an album called Twist and Shout in Canada. It was sort of like the first album, but with different tracks for North America and Canada, and the first song was I saw her standing there,
Yes.
and I felt the drum energy, you know, and yeah, I fell in love with the Beatles right away.
A lot of people say that Ringo isn't much of a drummer, but I totally disagree. I mean, it's hard stuff, you know?
He does exactly what needs to be done at the right place, and really tasteful, and yeah, you can hear that it's him when he's
Yeah.
playing. And when I saw as a kid, I when I saw the movies Hard Day's Night and Help, and I there were like live shots of them, and I could not believe the energy he had on drum. The whole kit is shaking.
Right. Almost like Keith Moon, you were afraid that he would blow it up with a bomb, right? Or something.
Big fan. I'm a big fan of Keith Moon.
Yeah.
A huge fan as well.
Yeah, he was gone too soon, you know, because who knows, you know, what awesome albums that they would have made with him in mind.
Mhm. Right.
Um, okay, so as a drummer, what's the number thing that you so what makes a great drummer? Is it speed or is it technique? Or a little bit of both? Do you think?
Oh, I think groove is the thing, you know, because you can be so tight that it will sound like something is being programmed on the beatbox, you know, and so you can, if you have the same dynamic all the way through to my taste, you can lose the groove. And so if you, personally, I always try to keep the groove, even when we are playing uh, um, music in weird time signatures. I try to keep a groove going and not become too complicated. And if the crowd can still headbang on it, you know, it's all good.
Right, right. I agree. I agree. Yes, there's always got to be some consistent motion with metal. You know, it's all you know feeling. So, okay, so we've discussed that you've been in the band for well, you've been in the industry for um almost 40 years now, which is great.
Yeah,
You know,
40 years, yeah, it's
so
true.
yeah, so knowing the ins and outs of this music industry, what would you tell somebody if they wanted to be a musician in the time we are in now? Because I've talked to a few musicians, and Shim from Sick Puppy says run away. Others say, and others say go for it. You know, but I guess that's perception. What's
Okay.
your
What is it to be a musician these days, you mean?
no? Like if somebody wanted to start a music career in the
Okay.
industry we are in now, what would you say?
Oh, I would say go for it, and find your own signature. That is the most important thing. Find your own sound, own signature, and also be prepared to be very perseverant. That's for sure. If anything, I will be remembered as an example of perseverance.
Exactly. Exactly. So we discussed earlier that you've been on bands with you've been on tour with many bands. How does your band look for other bands to go on tour with, or is it up to somebody else whether to book them?
Oh, well, we approach some bands. We are being approached by some bands, and and also we have a lot of recommendations from promoters and booking agents, and we go through every link, and we don't ignore anybody.
Right,
And sometimes we are looking for something that's very unique and not necessarily predictable. The last US tour we did was with a duo called Year of the Cobra, and we had a blast. People loved them. And that's a good thing with Voivod. We can tour with Napalm Death, but we can also tour with Opeth or Rush, or we played a show in Prague in August with Melt Banana from Japan, and it was amazing. So yeah, we can play with people from many different styles of music, and it's always been great for us to be also appreciated by people into different scenes, you know. Mm.
Yeah, because it's always a good thing to get bands from different genres too. You know, because I'm a big fan of like all kinds of music. It doesn't matter. You know, just good music.
Yes,
It's got to be good music for me. You know. Oh,
yes. Sometimes, you know, people like it if we tour. We go on tour with a tech metal band, but they will also appreciate it if we tour with a psychedelic band or a doom band like Yob. With that tour with Yob in 2019 was really successful across North America. You know.
right. Yeah. So I got a few questions from fans, if you don't mind, and
Yeah.
before we let you go. So my cousin Jessica asked, "Where did you get the band name from?" But I looked up on the internet, so you don't have to answer this because I know you answered this a bunch of times. Um, but it says the internet says that Voivod's name comes from the character created by Away You, that many of the songs are based around, inspired by Heavy Metal Magazine and getting the word Voivod from Dracula, which is odd because I never knew that. You created the Voivod character. Is that
Yeah, I created the Voivod character when I was a teenager because I wanted to be an artist for the magazine called Heavy Metal,
right?
and so I created this word with this nuclear vampire called Voivod guarding a planet called Morgoth and all that. But this was for comic books I wanted to do, and but later. In early 83, we're looking for a name, and I mentioned Voivod to the guys. They loved it, but they first wondered what it was, and I explained the concept, and then they thought it'd be great to develop the whole thing through the 80s. So yeah, we did. It was really cool, and we were trying to find catchy names so people could remember. And the guys called me away because when I was going to university in science, I would always, because of homework, show up at rehearsal really late or not at all. And also, when I would leave the rehearsal, they would find drawings everywhere that would leave, on notepads and all that. And they called me away because of that.
Well, homework always sucks, you know, classwork always sucks. So, yeah, who cares? um, okay, so for my friend Kyle Neely, which is a band called Pathos and Logos, I encourage you to look them up because they're awesome band too.
Cool.
He has three questions for you if you don't mind. He said,
Sure.
do you think that the album of yours called Nothing Face, which came in 1989, do you think that inspired the band Nothing Face to name their band after the album? Does that have
Oh,
any connection, you think?
I I would think so since both words are stuck together, but I could not confirm it.
Right,
To be
yeah.
honest, yeah,
I guess I would have to ask the band of Nothing Face, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he also asked, uh, let's see here. What has been the most unexpected change in the musical landscape during your career? Was it grunge, heavy metal, or like new metal?
Unexpected.
Yeah, he said unexpected.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. When we toured with Fate No More and Soundgarden in 1990 across North America, we could already feel the wind changing with the new alternative rock becoming more and more popular, and even the move of the crowd was different. It was not a mosh pit; it was like a big wave, and so we felt like something was coming, which really sort of, I guess, influenced us into writing Anger, more of an alternative metal album.
Right.
But when Nirvana released Nevermind, that I think the heavy metal bands probably felt like when all the bands from the 60s felt like when the Beatles showed up, you know.
Yeah, like
We're like, okay, this is really something fresh,
right,
and a new decade, a new generation, and this took everything by storm. But we really embraced it. It's
good,
uh, I really loved the band and the music and all that. Um, so yeah, I think the grunge movement is definitely something that hadn't happened in a long time.
right. Yeah, because I believe that Nirvana released Nevermind in '93, and they just like took it all from there. You know, I mean,
Oh, they released Nevermind in '91,
okay,
and
okay,
and uh, uh, it was a new era.
right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you had Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, something all just
Mm.
boomed after Nirvana, took charge. So yeah, that's awesome. He also said in the new music that just came, the new music video that just came out like 2 or 3 days ago,
Yeah.
Quest for Nothing, off the album Synchro Anarchy. He asked what inspired the video and who directed it, and I just watched it, and it's like it's awesome, but it makes you wonder, like, okay, yeah, well, I mean, like, yeah. So what inspired the video?
Well, yeah, the video is made with AI technology, and so there is a big debate about it, and but it's something that totally fits with the Voivod world, you know. And it's our Luc Leclerc is our webmaster for Voivod. He showed me what he could do with AI generated art with animation, and I had seen the AI art popping online a few months ago. I was blown away, but when I saw what could be done with animation, I could not believe. It's just an acceleration in terms of visuals, technology that I did not expect. It would take 300 years to do it without AI.
Right,
but
exactly.
I know there's a bit debate because it's sort of digging through the collective online consciousness, and there will be a lot of debate about rights, and but it's probably going to be a healthy debate. I think I was told when I bought an Amiga in the 80s to jump to digital art. I was already told it was not art. So you can, I mean, you can pick a fight against AI, but you ain't gonna win. You ain't gonna win that fight.
Right. Yeah, because AI is getting freakishly like weird now because I was watching the movie and it had Robert De Niro as as him right now, like old. But during the movie, it reverted back to him when he was like 23 or something. I mean, it is freaky. Uh, Do you think that the AI would take over the Earth one day? And I mean, like, do you think that our nightmares will become true later on?
Well, you know, it goes back to the movie Colossus that I watched in the 70s, where AI could do a mistake and destroy the whole planet, thinking that another AI is attacking, is the scenario that scares me the most.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. I hope that never happens, in my lifetime at least. Um, okay, so we have two more questions for you. This comes from Paul Christensen, the drummer of Path of the Logos. He said, okay, so he asked like the most difficult question ever in this interview. He says, I would love to know this. Could you, in 4 words, describe what it is like to be in Voivod. Four words,
Okay.
which is hard.
It's okay. Very long interstellar roller coaster.
There you go. Yes, we did it. Awesome. Awesome. I think he's gonna love you for that too. Okay, so now we got one more question, and then we'll let you go eat or do whatever you want. Whatever you do. Okay. Okay. So this podcast is called "When Words Fail, Music Speaks." That can be anything from the truth. Is there right now? Is there like a band or an artist that you can tell me that 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 you can think of that you can't when you hear the song or the artist name, you can't tell me how much it makes you feel. Like it's so deep in your soul, you can't tell me how much you love that. You understand what I'm saying?
I like to name a band that whenever I hear it, I have a very intense emotion about it.
Yes, that you can't tell anybody how it makes you feel deep inside.
Oh, okay, that I can't tell anybody.
Well, it's so emotionally like meaningful to you. You know, you can't express that emotion.
Oh, I guess I would say my heroes Van der Graaf generator.
Okay.
Yeah, but there it depends. I could also name Tool because Piggy, who passed away in 2005, was listening to Tool all the time. And to this day, it's been very difficult for me when I hear a Tool song somewhere.
Yeah, Tool is one of the music is weird, but it's so good, you know? It's like, okay, that captures my soul
Yeah,
in some ways, I can't explain it to you. Yeah.
yeah, it's too good. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. But
Sometimes I will see a band as well while playing festivals. I will see a band that will totally blow my mind, and like Meshuggah or And the last one I saw that blew my mind was we last time we played Heavy Montreal, big festival in Montreal. I went to watch Gojira,
yes.
and I could not believe what I was seeing, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, Gojira is awesome too. I love it.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's listening to us right now, you can visit Voivod at voivod.com. Facebook is Voivod, and the Instagram is Voivod Official, as well as the Twitter, voivod.net, all spelled out. We would love to have you back anytime you want to come on. We have a new series called Cover Wars, where we take your favorite song. I go out and find two different covers of that song, and we'll listen to them live, talk about it, enjoy good music. So I honestly do thank you very much for coming on, sir.
Thank you for having me, and anytime I can come back.
Yes, sir. Please come back soon. Please come back sooner. Sooner than later. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.